greeting Warrior fans to the first editions of our Warrior Weekly Show, special editions over the next week, as we'll be talking to football, soccer, volleyball, and cross-country head coaches who will be kicking off their seasons this weekend and next week. I want to remind your fans as well, before we get out onto the playing fields and get the action started, a few guidelines for spectators. Yes, fans will be allowed in the stands at Waldorf events. I want to remind you though, masks are required for all indoor sports, and outdoor sports, they are highly recommended. Also, fans, you're asked to social distance as you would be anywhere else in town or around the community. Now let's meet our coaches and talk Warrior sports. Fans, today we are joined by new Warrior head men's soccer coach, Brett Bentley. First season with the team. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Start off with maybe the easier question, and one we've been asking everybody. How excited are you to be back on the field, and how do you feel about how things are going?
Well, it's definitely an exciting time. The boys are energized. There's a lot of energy on campus with all the fall sports finally getting going again. I think with the pandemic, everybody's really eager to be back and starting. So it's a good time to be here on campus and be involved in college athletics, especially if you're actually going to compete. And so we're excited, but I think everybody always asks that question, and my response is kind of always the same, is we're cautiously optimistic. We feel good about some things, recognize that some other things need to be adjusted and improved upon, but all in all, we're feeling great about the direction we're headed.
We had a chance to chat with you a few weeks ago on first week of practice. You've had a couple weeks. This is a unique situation, no scrimmages, no early games, so you actually probably have had a good opportunity to work and put some of what you want in with the team. How has that been going? Have they been adapting well to what you're trying to teach them and coach them to play?
Yeah, actually, that's kind of one of the things that we're always interested to see. As you know, if this isn't the first time I've taken over a program, and so that's always the question: is how quickly will the players adjust, learn, and adapt to the new style of play that we like to employ? And so we're excited about it because I think the group of guys that we have currently kind of leading the way for our team, guys like Mickey and Hannibal. Guys on the back line with Jao Romeo in goal, and then some of the defenders. I think it's exciting because they really grasp it, and they're helping us then teach the concepts to the younger guys, which is being, at the end of the day, is kind of what you're shooting for. And because we talked a little bit last time, we always want our guys to be problem solving, to be proactive, not reactive. And so these guys being able to understand and grasp the concepts, they're able to solve problems during the game, and then help their teammates, the younger guys, and be a little more successful as well. And so I think across the board, we're excited about what we're seeing. But again, I say cautiously optimistic.
We mentioned that it's great to have 2-3 weeks where you don't have to worry about an opponent and you can really focus on yourself. But then in your situation, you need to evaluate. So how excited are you? Tuesday, September 8th against Graceland, you get to evaluate against somebody else.
Well, I tell you, that's been the hardest thing about the pandemic, because we've been in a situation to where we had about 3/4 of the guys show up on time, and then the rest of them have trickled in and gone through quarantine, and then in fact we still have one returning starter who's still out of the country, who we're hopeful that he'll return here in the next few weeks. And so for us, that's been, as a coaching staff, that's been the hardest thing, because as these new guys have come in, now we've had to step back and kind of look at the picture, the big picture, and go, okay, was what we were thinking going to actually be the strongest team going forward? And so we've continued to have to readjust kind of on a daily basis, which has been challenging, because usually at this point in time you kind of want to have things set in stone, feeling good about like a back lineup or a back four, your defensive unit, and how you're going to work in substitutions and things. And so I think we're getting there, but yes, you're hitting it on the head. Being able to put them out against another opponent is going to be the ultimate test, and give us the data and the information we need to then be better that second game out.
You guys have a nice mix. It's almost 50-50 newcomers and returners. So let's start with the returners. Who are the key guys that are back that are going to be making an impact, you think, this year?
Sure, I think João Romeo in goal. He's really kind of established himself as a force in the net. His communication, his athleticism. But I will also throw Josh Bonatti, the new goalkeeper, and then our two young guys, our freshmen, in the mix as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. But João Romeo has done a terrific job. João Cabral, as well as Milos. I think those two individuals have really helped us as a coaching staff in terms of being effective communicators with the group as a whole, because they've taken on those leadership positions, and so that's been beneficial for us. And so I think those two, we have great expectations that they will continue leading the group in a positive way. They've done a terrific job thus far. But I think now, as we start to look at some of the guys who've come in late, you look at Enrique Vieira, Enrique Lucas, Antonio Coletto, who we're hoping will be back. Those three individuals we think can really help us and drive the team forward and help us get a lot of good results this year. But again, they're a group of guys who, Antonio's not here yet, and Enrique showed up late, unfortunately, because of the border situation for Brazil. And so now we as coaches, again, are having to reevaluate and say, okay, these guys are going to help us. How quickly can they help us, and where exactly will they help us? And so as a new staff, not being able to have those guys right away is difficult. But again, we always talk about being problem solvers, solution oriented, and so the guys are doing a great job working with us so that we all get on the same page and are headed in a good direction.
Let's talk about the newcomers. Obviously, soccer is a game of depth. You're going to have some guys that step in and have an impact. Have you identified some of those guys? Who do you think is going to make an impact on the field just coming in?
Yeah, that has actually been the benefit. We've been able to bring in, most of our new guys were able to get here on time, and so we were able to spend a lot of time developing relationships and a good understanding of who they are as players and as people. And so I think guys like Mickey, Hannibal, G, and then Bernard, who's a returner but kind of new to the group again. I think those guys are going to do terrific things for us. They're all extremely dynamic attacking players, very talented technically, but the one thing you can't teach is speed, and they have it in bunches. And so that's, for us, a terrific thing. But then you also look at some of the younger guys in Nicolo, our Italian center mid. I mean, he's been very special so far, and I think he'll continue to push on and give us depth, but also potentially quickly become a starter and be an established center mid in the region as one of the better players. And so that's exciting for us. But again, you hit it on the head. We'll see what happens on the 8th, because that's the ultimate test, right?
Yeah. You've been at a variety of levels, NCAA, Division I, Division II, NAIA. You've been all over the country, Midwest, the West Coast, but you haven't had a look at the independent associations. So
Sure.
What do you know about the teams that you guys are going to be competing in the standings, at least, with, and how does this team stack up? Do you have a trip to Georgia planned for April?
Well, I will say, one of the team goals that we developed as a group was win the conference. So the expectation is, yes, not only will we get to Georgia, but we'll win Georgia. For me, again, as the coach, I'm the cautiously optimistic one. The kids can have, those high hopes, and we want to support them and push them on in that direction. That helps us motivate them on a daily basis with the extrinsic motivators. And so for us, that is a goal. That's what we're shooting for. At the end of the day, we always recognize that discipline with the details and taking it day by day is the most important part. So for us, we're worried about today and how we're going to get better today to then win the next game and then focus on the next day when it comes, really.
Appreciate it, Coach. I want to remind you, fans, The men will be opening the season Tuesday, September 8th, 6 o'clock, the second half of a women's and men's doubleheader against Graceland here at Waldorf Field. As we mentioned, games are open to the spectators. Come on out, cheer your guys on to a victory. Remember your masks and do your social distancing part. And it's going to be a busy first week and a half for the men. They've got 4 home contests over the next week and a half. They're hosting Dakota State, Northwestern, and Dordt, all between the 8th and the 19th of September. So a great opportunity to get out, enjoy some beautiful weather, and cheer these guys on to victory. Thank you so much again, Coach, and good luck this season.
Thank you very much. Go Warriors.